Finally getting around to an update. We have all of our framing in using 2x10 treated lumber, and it is square and it is ready for the small strips that we are going to be putting down inside along the bottom all the way around each cavity. And there will be 3/4 inch treated plywood set down into the framing to hold the insulation. We're putting R19 in the floor. We have our bolts all tightened on all of our posts. And it is dead flat and looking good. All the joists are set on 2-foot centers. Once the insulation is down, then we put in 3/4 inch untreated plywood for the floor, subfloor. And it planes out really well. So this is how we're going to mount the plywood. I've got 2 more pieces to go in there, but this is the general idea. Hey, looks like we have an inspector on the site, taking a very close look at my framing. Not the usual type of inspector either. Much prettier. Got our first row done with 2-inch strips that will accept the 3/4 inch treated plywood. This will be the bottom layer of the foundation, and on top of that plywood we'll be putting R19 insulation. All right, so we are moving right along with our strips for the plywood. We are on bay number 4 right now. Got 2 of them done. We have 2 more bays to go after this. So this will be finished this afternoon at some point. Hiram is cutting the strips right now and bringing them over to me, and so I'll show you how they go in. We put the 2 short ones in first, and this one is already in, and the other one is down here at the other end, already in. And then we put the long ones in between, and each one gets a 2.5 inch deck screw, 5 on the long ones, 2 or 3 depending on the length of the short ones. Pepper is crashed out in the shade and not doing her job, so May have to get her to wake up here in a little bit. Make sure we're doing this right. I started filming and I said, inspector's over there laying down in the shade. I have to go over and wake her up and get her on the job.
Kept her laying down over there, is she?
Yeah, she's in the shade, hanging out.
She's sitting there when I watch that piece of wood.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's a good bow. There was a guy not long ago that was making longbows out of bodog.
Yeah, you told me that. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, once he got it formed, it ain't going over there.
No, sir.
And it would have a lot of residue.
Imagine the pull on something like that.
I know.
That's going to be rough.
You'd have to be unfortunate.
Yes, sir. Or as my mother used to say, Man Mountain Dean might be able to do it. I can barely do a compound that's 50 pounds.
Well, I can't even think about it. Well, a compound of maybe 50 pounds.
It's tough. Because I'm not used to doing it.
I doubt I could. I sure would.
Shoot, I'm going to have to cut that one. All right, 13 1/4 on that one. 21 1/2 on the other.
13 and 40.
Do some interesting work on this one.
I started to say that's got to be.
I got to fill in this little spot in the behind there. So I've got the short ones if you want to write them down.
Okay.
1 1/2, then 2 1/4, and 9 1/2.
cut that 2.5 one, or 2.25, whatever it was, and it fell down. I couldn't find it amongst all them little blocks.
You got a lot of them down there.
Okay, I'll just cut another one.
All right. I knew I was going to have to cut one of these to make it work right. I'm glad I got the whole thing.
Yeah, that's an unusual
Yeah, this is
conglomeration there.
this is wacky. Luckily, I've done wacky once or twice. $90 3/16. $92.5. Wanted to clarify the beam spacing. So I follow the rule of the width of the lumber. And this is different from span charts or whatever manufacturer's suggestions. So if it's a 2x6, I don't span it more than 6 feet without some kind of support. On a 2x8, that would be 8 feet. On a 2x10, that would be 10 feet. But this is a house and not a deck. So we have kind of broken that rule. These 2x10s don't span more than 8 feet, except in one bay where they are just over 8 feet, 3 inches. This way, sagging will be virtually impossible. And there will be no floor bouncing. Unless, of course, there's a dance party held in the house. Haha. We got finished with all of the 2x2 strips. They are in every bay now. tomorrow after work, I have about half a day in Dallas, and then we are going to head over and get the treated plywood that goes on top of these strips. And once we get that in, then we can put insulation. And we're using R19. And then the final layer of subfloor, another layer of 3/4 inch plywood, non-treated, goes on top. And it planes out really nicely. Got a little bit of a bulge on this side. Sticks out just a tiny bit. So the pollen has invaded the pond, mostly from the hackberries. But I wanted to walk you over to see something that the pond builder thought was a good idea, but we did not. He left what he calls a spillway over here. And the first really big rain, it eroded quite a bit. And so my friend decided that he was going to bring in a culvert and then put it inside the hollowed out area, and it comes all the way through the fence into the ephemeral creek where it will drain away from the pond. We didn't want it to leak. And so over here he will be pouring cement all the way around here like this to make a spillway with cement being poured inside to lock it in. That way it can't go anywhere. Right now, we're gonna have to put a barrel in front of it because the dogs come back here, and I think they figured out that it might be a good escape mechanism. So I'm gonna set this blue barrel in front of it so they can't get out. Our mountain of dirt, we've got to redo a little bit by digging out a little more out here. And then over here there is another spillway, but it needs to be walled up on this side so that when the dirt washes down it doesn't go over and into the pond. So that's coming up. A little more tractor work here and there. There's our epic burn pile. This thing is going to be a monster fire. So we're gonna have to wait until it is raining to light that one. And then that's my little mound of dirt right there for the range, which I'm going to plan on finishing that when the electrician starts his work. And way in the back there you can see my 3-foot wall of dirt. I will likely use this entire pile here as well as more from over there. But quite a nice view from the back door, I would say, which is going to be right up here. Right about here. We'll have one French door and 3 large 3-foot wide windows looking out on this from the living room. The tree frogs are epic out here. Can't hear them now, but a while ago they were singing loudly. So anyway, it's time to go get some dinner. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.